former board chair of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, have withdrawn their services. Dennis, why? What's going on?
Well, so I mean, it's very normal for such things to happen if there's a disagreement between counsel and then clients. I mean, counsel can withdraw their representation. So it's one of those things.
I see.
I say so because the letter that was written to the court, which was, it did not indicate what the reasons were. But Prof himself had indicated that there were some misunderstanding between them for which they are mediating. So, I mean, basically that's about it. So he now has to look for another lawyer or to engage services of other lawyers. So because of that, the proceedings for today could not carry on. And that basically was an application they had to stay proceedings. That's because they had earlier filed a motion seeking the Attorney General to disclose to them some documents. Some documents to the effect that they needed those documents to be able to help their case. And as the law is, I mean, they're entitled to that if indeed that kind of document exists. The Attorney General opposed that. And the basis for the opposition is that the documents that they were asking for, they do not have that document. So there's no way they could give such a document. The court ruled against them. That is to say, the court dismissed that application for that disclosure. So they went on an appeal. So while on an appeal, they came back to the High Court to say, stay the proceedings, let's deal with the one at the Court of Appeal and come back. However, when they were there today to move that application, the second accused person, who is in the person of Prof, did not have his lawyer. So they had to adjourn the case just to allow him to get a lawyer so that on the next adjourned date, they can have that business done.
I see. And I know that this is one that you're following quite closely, and we'll see. So it's incumbent on Christopher Ameyaw-Akumfi, Professor, to get a new lawyer, right? And then we'll see how things go.
That's so, sure.
Thank you. That's why.
Yes.
Now, you hear Dr. Dominic, and let's start from the point that he ended. He gives an indication that there are some persons who have actually agreed to serve as prosecution witnesses.
Yes.
That's what he says. They've started singing some songs.
And in due course.
And in due course, we're going to know the lyrics of the song. So
it does appear we are here.
Do you see the lyrics of the song in some of what we're saying in this court document?
Not yet, because I understand what the Attorney General to be saying is that these are people who know what exactly has happened. So in due course, when the need arises for evidence to be led to prove these allegations that have been brought against these persons, we'd get to hear exactly what these people have. Mind you, the Attorney General started from a point where he talks about people approaching him and asking that they should be used as prosecution witnesses instead of being tried themselves. But of course, when this announcement was made, many were asking questions as to why it has taken so long before the Attorney General put these people before court, because he himself had indicated as part of this statement, giving a timeline as to when he was going to do that. But the legal vacation came into the picture. We understand that was the reason for which this could not be done. But now here it is. Officially, the charge sheet is out. They are yet to be put before the court. We understand somewhere within this week that will be done. Where the persons named here will now properly be put before the court for their plea to be taken. Right. But it's important for us to know which offenses or which crimes they are alleged to have committed, for which reason we are here. Now, generally, there are around offenses of causing financial loss to the states, around stealing, and also matters of money laundering, and also, yes, issues of that misappropriation. But what is important to note in this particular one is that in other instances, you would have seen that because all the persons are being held before the court on the same or similar set of facts, you would find them that they'll put them on one charge sheet. Now, what we see here, they are separate charge sheets. What it means is that they are going to try them separately.
I see.
Yeah, so these are the counts that you see in respect of the former executive director himself,
That's it.
Ose Asibenchi.
How many charges have been slapped on him?
So in his case, there are...
Could we go through it all?
Yes.
You know.
So there are 14 in his case. And like I said, the general sum of it is because some of them appear repetitive because of the way we do a charge sheet.
For the benefit of the public.
For the benefit of the public.
Some education.
So each instance of an act will constitute a count. So if somebody were to steal, say, 5 CDs today and steal 5 CDs tomorrow and 10 CDs the day after, when you're doing the charge sheet, you charge them as having committed an offense today, tomorrow, and the day after.
Instead of consolidating
it. You can't just say that the person stole 20 CDs. No. You say the person stole 10 CDs on this day, stole 5 CDs on this day. So that will constitute different counts. That's how come you see that you have, for instance, causing financial loss to the Republic. Then the next one also talks about causing financial loss to the Republic. Yes, these are offenses of causing financial loss to the Republic, but on separate incidents.
Right.
Now let's look at the former deputy. In her case, it also has to do with offenses around that area. Except that in her case, as you would see, and very typical of every charge sheet, you would see the brief facts attached.
Right.
For some reason, we don't see the brief facts attached to the former executive director himself. Else, we would have known the story behind all that they are being charged for. But in the deputy, we will see that pretty shortly. So her offenses are along the lines of stealing as well, like I mentioned earlier, willful causing financial loss to the Republic. The same thing repeated here. Using public office for profit, contrary to, then they give the provision. Then money laundering is also in here. And in her case, there are 5. Now let's look at what the brief facts say. So this is just a summary of all that the Attorney General says is the reason for which they are preferring these charges against her.
And you say that in the case of the former Director General, we didn't have that.
No,
and it's based on the court documents we have.
Not yet.
Okay.
But it will be unusual that they will go to court and that's...
Without it.
Yes, because it's part of the procedure that after their plea is taken, the brief facts will be read to the accused persons and, of course, to the court. So we just try to animate the brief facts in the case of the deputy or the former deputy, just so we appreciate what is happening. Now, this person is accused because she played a role when she was the former deputy executive director of the National Service. This agency, we know, is responsible for deploying graduates to do their national service. Now, there's a case made about a platform that they call the marketplace platform. What is this platform and how does it play a role here? Now, this was a platform that was created just so it will ease the financial burdens on national service personnel and allowing them to apply for loans and to purchase products on hire purchase.
I see.
And this was done through vendors. These vendors had to be registered. So they were only allowed to do a hire purchase from people who were registered to offer that service. Now, what happened? Each time you buy from these vendors, the money is deducted as a national service person, of course. The money is deducted directly from your service allowance. So it means that there's guarantee of payment for you once you're a vendor.
So that's 699 CDs. But if you go and buy anything from any of these vendors on hire purchase, by the time you receive your money, some amount would have been taken.
Yes.
Because they will spread it over a period.
Exactly. And that money will go to the vendors.
Right.
But these vendors are registered vendors.
Interesting.
Now, what role did the accused person play in all of this? Now we are told that in her capacity as the deputy executive director then, she was in charge or had the oversight of finance, audits, and procurement departments and was solely responsible for approving merchants and vendors. So all those people who offered such services as vendors, she had to approve that on the marketplace platform.
Right.
What happened? There were investigations into that to see if there was any wrongdoing. So in February 2025, NIB launched an investigation into allegations of ghost names. And these ghost names, we know where it's coming from. The Fourth Estate did an investigation which unearthed that there were issues relating to some people who were being paid monies and they do not really exist. some people who do not even qualify to be in the scheme. Yes, yet they were there. So that opened up a can of worms. There were also allegations of stealing, corruption, money laundering, and all. Remember, we're told that NIB invited her, she was granted bail and interrogated as well. Now, the findings. They said that the investigations revealed that between 2022 and March 2024, the accused allegedly informed officials of the Agricultural Development Bank that her private company, Blocks of Life, BLC, had an agreement with the NSA to sell products on hire purchase to service personnel, and this led to what the Attorney General says was an act of corruption and financial impropriety, because she would go, as the Attorney General says in the brief facts, and procure a loan from ADB using names of persons who she had said were on the national service scheme, but it would later, as they found out, were ghost names to procure that loan.
I see.
In fact, the loan she wanted was about 78 million Ghana cedis. The bank said they could not do so. Else, if they were going to do so, it meant that they were going to be deducting all the allowances that were due the persons who were presented. So they gave her something around 31.6 million. And that is the amount, part of which is being charged with these offenses. So
it is her company, it is on the strength and capacity of her company that she approached ADB. The company is what? Blocks
of Life. But mind you, Blocks of Life, being a vendor, she had a rule to approve who gets to be a vendor in there.
Right, I see. So is this the same Blocks of Life consult that her husband is alleged to have been what, one of the directors?
Yes. Now we are even told, as part of the brief fact, that there was another person who also played the role, who happens to be the mother's driver. So there's even more emerging in respect of who actually owns, or the ownership and the management of, yes, Blocks of Life. So, Alfred, that is what we are dealing with. And in the coming days, as we are taking information, they'll be put before the courts for their plea to be taken. And then the real deal begins there.
But it's also worth putting it out that with all what we have shown, the burden of proof is still on the Attorney General, as it were, is it not?
Precisely.
To prove this beyond reasonable doubt in court.
Yes. And the Attorney General has always maintained that if he does not have evidence, he will not go to court. So now that he is in court, the assumption is that he has evidence to prove all these allegations that he's bringing against these persons.
Beyond the press conferences and everything else that we've had. In fact, on Gifty Oware Mensa, this is what the Attorney General said at one of the previous press conferences. He was giving updates on this case. And then as we'll get to a second part of it, because you raised another issue which the Attorney General captured in that earlier press conference. Take a look at this.
For instance, we have conclusively established that after collecting these funds, some of the suspects, such as Gezi, Nyako, and Othing, handed them over to suspect Ose Asibe Entry in cash, and on some occasions deposited the cash into his bank account. Ose Asibe was the Chief Executive, the Director General of the National Service Authority. Some directors, such as Gifty Oware Mensa, created and executed a meticulously detailed plan using NSP, National Service Personnel Allowances, as security to obtain a loan of 30,698,218 cedis, 69 pesos, from the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, at an interest rate of 23%. She achieved these results by using other people's information to register a company called Blocks of Life Consult without their knowledge or permission. Subsequently, she presented Blocks of Life Consult through a middleman in the person of Maxwell Akwesi Ofori-Minta to an official of the Agricultural Development Bank, and listing her husband, Mr. Peter Mensah, a lawyer to act as one of the directors or representative of the said company. She told ADB that the company specialized in supplying home appliances to national service personnel and proposed that ADB finance the company to enable it to supply these items on hire purchase basis to the service personnel, with the NSA being responsible for handling the deductions and repayments.
So that's the Attorney General there, Dr. Dominic Ayine, giving details prior to this moment of now with the details and the court documents that we have seen, and some of which Dennis touched on. The Attorney General had already put out some detail captured in the court documents on the scheme that he says was being run by the Deputy Director General. That's a former Deputy Director General of the Ghana National Service Authority, Gifty Oware Mensa. Now, let's go on to Zoom now. Donko Fuseni is the current Deputy Director General in charge of Finance and Administration at the National Service Authority. He's joining us right now. Mr. Fuseni, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.